Hey, what is up? This is Chris Martinez, and I am the host of Operation Agency Freedom. And in this episode, I am speaking to the man, the myth, the legend, Ezra Firestone of Smart Marketer. And on this show, we are discussing how to grow a huge brand like he has that's doing 50 million in revenue, which he's doing, and how the not so sexy stuff of running a business is really what helps you to scale and be profitable and have that amazing lifestyle that everybody dreams about. And if you've never heard of Ezra, Ezra is a expert. He is like the real deal when it comes to digital marketing, e-commerce, and building a very profitable business, not just some like fly-by-night company that's capitalizing on whatever dopamine thing people are selling in the moment. He's built a real business. And you've probably already seen him on many, many stages like traffic and conversion and all kinds of the big digital marketing events. The one thing that I really love about Ezra, and in this interview specifically, is that he is literally sharing his KPI financial document that he uses to run his massive company. And he's showing that to you in this interview. Most agency owners are not tracking their finances like monthly, and maybe a lot of you guys aren't even tracking them annually. So in this show, you actually get to see what he does and the tool that he uses to run his actual numbers and run his very, very successful business. And I think that learning and understanding more about Ezra's business is really important, because even though he's like this super slick dressing digital marketing guy, if you like ever see him at the event, on this show, he kind of looks like a bum, which is how I always look, proudly. I apologize for nothing. But Ezra is showing you how, like, even though what you see at the event is like this polished kind of like, fast talking digital marketing dude, he really does get his hands dirty, and he has no problems, and he actually sees the huge value in doing the non-sexy stuff, because that is what's really going to help you be successful both financially and personally. So if you are struggling to grow your agency and you do not track your financials every week like he does, then this episode is going to be perfect for you, as it will give you the exact steps and tools that you need to be a better CEO and a better leader. So just really quickly, a couple of the topics that we're going to cover in this episode. So we're going to talk about the boundaries that Ezra has created in his life around his work life that have really helped him to grow and be happy. I know that's something that I definitely struggled with in the past. He's going to talk about those financial metrics and the KPIs that he uses and measures to grow his revenues to over $50 million. And the most important thing is he talks about the importance of having fun, which I love. So at the end of this episode, make sure that you visit our website where you can find all the show notes and then any links that Ezra might have mentioned in the show. So with that being said, let's head over to this amazing interview. What is up, Ezra? Welcome to the show, my man. I'm very, very excited to have you. I met you, I think, probably 5 years ago at TNC, just kind of like in the hallway, and then been following you for years. So, and chasing you down to get you on the podcast for a long time. So thank you very much for coming on the show.
It's one of those things where I've been doing less and less of this kind of stuff as I've gotten busier and busier as a full-time sort of CEO of a couple of brands. My influencer career, which was never really a career, it was just sort of something I did on the side for fun, has dwindled. And so I appreciate you bearing with me, and I'm really happy to be here.
Yeah, no, it was worth it for sure. So let's talk about you, and we'll just put that out there. You do not own an agency. The reason why I wanted to have you on the show is because you manage some very successful brands. You own some successful brands. Plus, you teach a lot of digital marketers and digital agencies. So
I had an agency many, many years ago.
Of course. Yeah. So you have the experience as well. So for those 5 people that are listening that don't know who you are, just give us your quick elevator pitch about what you do.
Sure. I started in e-commerce in 2005. I have built and sold 7- and 8-figure e-commerce businesses over the years. I currently run a brand that will do about 40 million this year. No debt, no funding, just bootstrapped myself. I have a software as a service business for e-commerce business owners on Shopify that supports Shopify merchants by extending the functionality of Shopify. That'll do about 8 million this year. Mm-hmm. And I also have a education company called Smart Marketer, where I kind of share, courses and stories and stuff like that, my experience of being an entrepreneur, et cetera, with business owners. And so I got 3 brands currently that are active: e-commerce brand Boom by Cindy Joseph, software company Zipify Apps, and marketing blog / course business Smart Marketer. And I really love it. I'm just a guy who loves this stuff and has gotten really good at it, and then figured out how to, build businesses around it outside of just being an e-commerce merchant.
What do you think are some of your unique skill sets that have helped you to be so financially successful in this industry?
Well, I just never quit. So like I've made all the mistakes, not paying the taxes, not understanding inventory, not understanding how to delegate, doing it all myself, I've literally made every mistake you can make. I just started a long time ago and made them when I made those mistakes early on in my career. I didn't have educators. There was no podcast. There was no courses. There was just a few little forums. And so I think my real skill set is I'm very consistent. I think the skill that you want in life is mastery. And mastery is really the willingness to put your attention in one area consistently over time. Pick up the book 30 minutes a day and study. Pick up the instrument 30 minutes a day and practice. And I will really do whatever it is we say we're going to do. If it's okay, we're building this business, that means I'm going to put 3 hours twice a week or 4 times a week into trying to figure out the business, product, marketing, support, sales funnels, optimization, training, delegation, whatever it is. I will do it. We're not eating sugar. I will actually not eat sugar in the face of whatever
holiday time or whatever.
Yeah, whatever it is, whatever the thing is, the attraction thing, I will do that. I have confidence in my will, and I play willpower games with myself deliberately. I build that strength. I'm like, okay, let me try this. I'm going to run 2 miles 4 times a week for 3 months, and I'll do that. And I'm going to read 3 books in the next 3 weeks. I'm constantly playing these little games with myself because I like flexing that muscle of willpower. And I think that I'm nothing special. I'm some guy, but I'm some guy who's been focused on being successful in the business arena for 15 straight years. And it took me 7 years until I had my first $1 million year. Now my businesses this year will probably do 55 million, but it wasn't that way. I worked a full-time job. I didn't have any money to start. I moonlighted my business. I've made tons of mistakes. I had many, many failures, but I never stopped, dude. I just kept going. It's a marathon. It's what we're doing in business is we're watering some seeds, and we're doing that every day over the course of several years. And you really don't see brands be truly successful generally. Truly, I'm talking millions of dollars in revenue and profit until years 4, 5, 6, 7. That's usually when it happens, because you water this plant every day, and it starts, first year, it doesn't really bear much fruit. Second year, it bears a little bit. Third year, it bears a lot more. And it has the compounding effect of every year before it. The energy that was built up in that year is maximized the following year. So the other thing that I've done that other people don't do is I have set rigid boundaries around my work life. So I've understood that this is a marathon. It's not a sprint. And I've focused on my physical body, my mental body, my relationships, my hobbies, my relationship with my wife, my, sports. I do not do business 14 hours a day, like some people who then fucking burn out and are all miserable. It's no. Yeah. I have a very strict container around my work life, because I know that work will fill the time that you give it. And I'm going to burn out if I don't set clear boundary. I did that early on. I also burned out. I was like, dang, I can't do this anymore. I'm working too much. So I figured out how to maintain and sustain. And that's really the key. It's they say 50% of success is just showing up. I think 90% of success is showing up, number one. Number two, taking action in the direction of your goal. Number three, looking at what happened, observing observing the action, and then taking new action based off that information. If you just keep doing that, you're going to be successful. And the other thing is, hey, my businesses are fucking huge at this point. That was not my goal. And it's still not my goal. I don't care how big it gets. I really don't. My goal is, number one, have a good time. Look, you could die tomorrow, dude. My business partner died suddenly in 2018 out of nowhere. Boom. Been working with her for 10 years. Half owner of my business, dead within a week. It's that shit happens. And so, this idea that you're promised a long life is not accurate. And so if you are not enjoying your world, you've missed the point of this thing we call life. And what I mean by that is you're not going to grind and work hard and hustle. It's that you're going to take care of yourself, your mental body, your physical body, your spiritual body, your emotional body, your relationships, your hobbies. You're going to eat well. You're going to clean your fucking fingernails. You're going to do what it takes to feel good so that you can show up to your work present and bring some enthusiasm and bring some fun. Number one, have fun. Number two, make good shit that serves the world. Make truly good products. Have truly good services that really help your customers and clients. And review. Ask them, how did this go? Make it better all the time. make good stuff that is helpful and continually iterate to make it better. Number 3, be profitable. And if you can do that, if you're having fun and you're making good stuff and you're making money, you make 50 grand a year, 100 grand a year, I don't care what you make, you've won the game. That's the game. Yeah. There is no other game than that. This idea that it's got to get bigger. It's like, no, it doesn't. It has to be fun, good for people, and profitable. Then what happens is it does end up getting bigger because you're having fun and you're making good shit and you're profitable. So I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. But
no, this is good, man. This is good. And then you gave me a layup of a segue into the profitability question. So what is something that you do, a process that you've created that has helped your brands, and you can even pick one brand if you want, to maximize and grow your profitability?
Okay. The first thing is people don't look at their finances. I have what's called a weekly KPI document, and I'm actually going to pull it up for you. I'm going to tell you exactly what is on it.
Let's do this.
So
I have a similar one, so I'm curious to what yours looks like.
Yeah, I only want to show, I don't want to show every single week of this. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to screenshot 1 week here, and I'm going to show it to you. So let me just go ahead and screenshot this here.
And this is the weekly one that you just received on like Monday.
I look at this every week. Okay. And this is so you can see, can you see that or no?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. Net sales and the year over year change. So how am I doing versus this week last year? Or sorry, how am I doing versus the previous year? And then you can't see it, but on another column, I have this exact week last year.
Okay.
How am I doing versus what I had said I wanted to do? So my budget. So in this case, I'm 63% over my budget, right? My budget was 540,000 that I wanted to make. I made 82. My average order value, I'm always optimizing for AOV. It's down 4% over last year. What percentage of my revenue was discounted? So how many discounts went in? So 10% of I'd given basically 10% discount. How did that compare to this week last year? I have that in another column.
Okay.
Percentage of revenue from new customers, percentage of revenue from repeat customers. You can see this week I ran a sale. So I've got 56% of my revenue from repeat customers. Marketing spend as a percentage of net sales. So 30% I spent on Facebook ads, basically Facebook and Google, as you can see in this down here. But and then marketing spend as a percentage of new customers. So not just repeat, but how much did I spend versus my new customer revenue, my Facebook revenue and the return on ad spend there, my Google revenue and the return on ad spend there, and then my Amazon sales.
Okay.
And then basically down here, total sales versus budget, inclusive of Amazon and Shopify advertising spend as a percentage of net sales total revenue. So basically, I'm trying to keep my advertising spend as a percentage of net sales below 35%.
Okay.
In any given week, because I know if I go over 35%, I'm not very profitable. I'm trying to keep my average order value over $80, and I'm trying to keep my cost per customer acquisition at the top of the funnel under 60, and I'm trying to keep my cost per customer acquisition inclusive of awareness, remarketing, and loyalty under 30. So if I include all advertising spend and all pillars, not just awareness, but remarketing, loyalty as well, I need to be spending less than $30 to acquire a customer in aggregate. So I look at these metrics every week and I see how they're doing, and I see how they're doing to the previous year, and I see how they're doing in relationship to my projections. And I try to explain why each metric is what it is and what happened. And is there anything I need? Like, I look at my numbers, and most people don't. And that really helps me in my marketing.
Yeah. Do you have another sheet that shows you your net income and cash and like that sort of stuff? Cash flow?
Oh yeah, I have a P&L. This is just the weekly KPIs, right? I do a monthly P&L review as well.
Okay.
At the 10th of every month, my books are done. I review the P&L. I look at what I spent on inventory, what I spent on advertising, what I spent on salary, what came in, and then I look at that based on the previous month and the previous year. And I spend a lot of time in the finances, which, I think a lot of business owners don't. And as you get more sophisticated at monitoring your KPIs and finances, your business grows, because you need that. You need to feng shui that in order for it to scale.
Absolutely. I mean, that's something that we talk to our clients about. And for some reason, I have my own opinions on why. In the digital marketing space, digital agency space, there's a lot of people who don't like to do that stuff. But that's the shit that's the most important.
If you don't have insight into the finances, you don't actually know what's happening in your business.
Right. And it's not fun. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I don't necessarily enjoy looking at the numbers. But what I do really enjoy is when we have a lot more money in the bank and I can pay myself a lot more than I was the year before. I really like that. So you do have to just kind of understand that that's part of running a real business. You have to look at the numbers. When you're doing your annual plan, do you do like an annual pro forma, or like how do you map out what you want to do in, let's say, like 2021, when we're like in January or December of 2020? How do you create that annual plan?
So I look back at the year prior. I look back at what happened. I look if there were any outlying factors, COVID, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then I look at the year going forward. And for me, it's pretty easy. It's like, okay, I'm aiming to grow 30% year over year. If I grew 30% year over year, what would that look like on a monthly basis? And then how am I actually going to get there? So am I going to run product launches and sale promotions in each of the same months I did, or am I going to do it differently? Okay, figure that out. What's that projected to bring in? What am I going to spend on advertising every month? And what's going to be my limit on cost per customer acquisition? So I just kind of make a goal of what I want to create, and then I try to beat that. So it's like, it's not an exact science, obviously. It's like you look at the year prior, you ratio down for any outlying factors, and then you grow that by a certain percentage and you put it in each month, and then you fit in there, how are you going to achieve that? Well, for me, it's simple. It's advertising, email marketing, sale events, product launches. Those are my 4, and Amazon. Those are my 5 levers for generating revenue. And then I got to figure out what level I'm going to be able to pull that off at. And obviously for me, it's variable because the ad market is going to dictate a lot of my business, much different than an agency, right? Once you get a client, they keep paying you. I get one customer, I got to go back and get another customer next month.
Interesting. Is 30% your actual target, like that growth number? Or if it's not, like, how do you determine that percentage?
Yeah. If I'm growing at 15% each year, I'm happy, but I'd like to be growing at 30.
Why?
30% year is what I want for my future value. For me, it's all about selling, right? Like the truth of the matter is a cash flow business is not going to generate you wealth. What generates wealth is asset liquidation. That's the only way to generate true wealth. So cash flow businesses are nice, but the only point for me of having a cash flow business is that it's a valuable asset that I can one day sell. I don't care about the money that I got to pull some out to live on, whatever, but it's about making the business as valuable as I can so I can one day sell it. I mean, look at the baby boomers. They took their 401ks, they invested it in real estate, bought an asset, let that asset appreciate, sold it later for more money. That's how they generated wealth. I build businesses. Or buy businesses. And then I increase the value of them and then sell them. That's how I generate wealth. 80% of the money a business owner will make, a smart business owner, from a business is the day they sell it. They'll make 5 times as much money that they ever pulled out of that business the day they sell it. And so for me, if I can grow 30% year over year, it has a strong effect on my ultimate valuation of my brand.
That's very interesting. I've never heard anybody talk about it like that, but obviously,
the only reason to be in business, in my opinion, because think about it this way, dude. What's the goal? What are we doing this for? Well, we're doing it to make money. Okay. And because we want to have fun and, serve the world and all that. Okay. But at the end of the day, it's like you want to support your family first and foremost. So we want to generate resource. We want to use that resource towards causes we find noble. Take care of our family, take care of our community, put it towards causes in the world. Okay. If the game is resource generation, what's the most effective means of resource generation? It's not a fucking cash flow business. It's the sale of an asset. So if proven by the financial markets that the most effective means to generate resource is to sell assets, you need to be acquiring or building assets and then selling them. Like you look at people who have real money, true generational wealth is not come from cash flow businesses generally. Like look at private equity as a business model. Private equity, the highest returning asset class in America, is simple. Buy a business, buy 60 to 80% of a business. Leave the operating team in place. So take the business owner and say, hey, you've been banging on this thing for 10 years. You hit a plateau. You're burned out. All the risk and intensities on your head to keep it running. You got all the responsibility. You're drawing maybe 10 grand a month out of this business that makes $1 million a year, just enough to get by. Let me take all the pressure off your head. You can keep your $10,000 a month salary. So you keep your salary. I'm going to own 80% of your business. I'm going to write you a check for 400 grand right now. So you get that liquidity, and I'm going to help you. I'm going to give you strategy, advice, support, financial modeling, connections, and we're going to grow your business by 3 or 5x in 3 years, and then we're going to sell it. I'm buying it for $500,000. We're going to sell it for $4 million. Oh, and by the way, when we sell it for $4 million, you still own 20%. So you get another 800 grand when we sell it. And that's what they do. They find businesses that are under optimized.
Yep.
They leave the operating team in place. They buy assets. They buy into assets. They support the operating team in growing the business, and they sell them. It's genius. And it's what I'm doing now. Obviously, I'm building brands as well, but I'm also buying equity in brands and supporting their growth through strategy and financial advice, mitigating the risk of the owner and giving them a liquidity event, and then giving them a second liquidity event when we sell a second time. So I think the game is, or take the money from your cash flow business, use it to buy assets.
Yeah.
You let those fucking real estate, whatever, dude. Yeah. Let those assets appreciate. But I'm not a real estate guy, and I'm not a stock investor, and I don't believe in that. I believe in putting my money into things that I directly control or have financial strategy or have a strategic oversight in. So I put my money in businesses.
Yeah, that in and of itself is a really good lesson. It's like you should put your money into something that you actually like, right? Don't feel like
understand.
Yeah, that too. Obviously, yes, you should absolutely understand the investment. Like don't feel like because Grant Cardone says you have to put all your money into real estate that you need to put all your money into real estate, or because you and Roland say that you got to go
real estate.
Right.
If I'm an agency owner, I'm investing in other agencies all day long. I'm buying other agencies. I'm like doing the shit that I know.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. All right. Final question. You talked about causes, right? And so, the income and the wealth that you generate from your brands right now, or that anybody generates from selling a company, usually can go into fuel your causes. What's one of your big causes that you have? Something that you are gathering.
I got 60 hippies to support. Okay. I grew up on a commune. I got a bunch of people who raised me who don't have a lot of money or health insurance and stuff or income. So I got a bunch of folks to support. I've got a big vision of what I'm doing here in upstate New York. I own 131 acres up here that I'm doing with my wife. I believe in supporting the waters in America and around the world. I think supporting clean waterways and supporting taking care of this water that nourishes our bodies and all life on earth is really important. I believe heavily in that. I believe in supporting lands. So keeping land open and accessible and not developed, and supporting the reforestation and lack of deforestation of the rainforest. I got a lot of shit I'm doing, man, that I'm into. So the more resource I can generate, the better, because I feel like I have good ideas of what to do with it. And of course, I like to look. I like nice shit too. I got a $1,500 electric skateboard over there. I got you see my gym. Like I like to have nice stuff too. I'm not consuming to fill out of boredom or consuming shit that doesn't bring me joy, or consuming to fill some kind of void. But
it's not vanity driven or anything like that. Dude,
my fucking desk is worth at this point. This desk is $5,000. Each of these screens are $5,000. The computer's $5,000. I probably got 50 G's worth of stuff just in this desk, right? But that helps me with my business. This gym over here, I got a Toyota Tacoma, so I don't have a fancy car, but I'm thinking about getting a fancy car. So I like to get stuff too. I got some nice clothes and shit. I like to buy things. I enjoy consumption. I'm all for consumption. I think fill your cup so that you can then pour from it. So I'm not anti buying things that are fun and useful. I got a real fancy kitchen. I got all kinds of gadgets. I got a clay pot rice cooker, and I got a fancy espresso machine. So I'm into shit,
Hey, it's good to have balance, and if that's what you're into, more power to you. All right. So we're just about out of time. I know you're a busy guy too. So what's the best way for people to get in contact with you?
So you can find me on Instagram at Ezra Firestone. You can also find me on Twitter at Ezra Firestone. I'm on YouTube and Facebook as well.
Awesome. And who would be the perfect person to reach out to you or follow you?
Anybody who's an entrepreneur or business owner or works in tech, who's interested in both tactics and strategies for how to have a more fun and profitable experience in their work life, and also people who are interested in sort of alternative ideas on lifestyle, communication, relationships, shit like that.
Awesome, man. Thanks so much for being on the show. And to all of our listeners, thank you guys for tuning in today. And make sure that you return next Thursday and every Thursday for the next episode of Operation Agency Freedom.
Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, it would mean so much to me if you could share it with your friends, family, and basically anyone who will find the same value in this episode that you did. And to get the latest from me, then let's definitely connect on social media. You can go to Facebook, facebook.com/Dude Agency, or Instagram at dudeagency.io, or you can check us out on YouTube on our YouTube channel. And then, of course, you can always visit our website at dudeagency.io, where you can see all of our other episodes of Operation Agency Freedom. You can also register for any live trainings that we have going on how to run a highly profitable agency. And of course, you can see how we help digital agencies with the people, the processes, and the education so that they can take on more projects and scale profitably. Thanks again, and I will see you next time.